I'd like to call this meeting of the Common Council of the City of Elkhorn to order. Will you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Tim Schroeder.
Here.
Peter Harvey.
Here.
Gary Payson Jr.
Here.
Ron Dunwoody. Absent. Scott McClory.
Here.
Ken Minell.
Here.
Kurt Harkness.
Here.
All right, we've got public comment. Do we have anyone here for public comment? Yes, Dennis. Let me read my little paragraph and then I'll have you come up to the podium. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes each. The public may speak on any item of city concern, whether or not the topic is included on this agenda. However, if the topic does not pertain to an item listed on the council agenda, the council is not permitted to address or discuss the matter during this meeting. Under open meeting laws, the council must notice an item on the agenda to allow discussion on that matter. If the council is not permitted to discuss your concerns, your comments will be considered and may be placed on a future agenda for further discussion. If you'd like to come up and state your name and address.
Dennis Karbowski, 5531 Amos Road, Elkhorn. I just want to say thank you to all of you for keeping an open mind with the ATV, UTV laws, and hope that we can strive to get to where the county is and have the posted speed limits be your speed limits also. And again, appreciate all the work you guys have done. We're making great strides forward. Thank you.
Thanks, Dennis. We've got the consent agenda, meeting minutes for Common Council on September 16th, 2024, and the Financial and Judicial Committee on September 30th, 2024.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second. Motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. A report of city officers, the mayor's report. I would just like to call on Chad Robinson with some good news.
Good evening. I'm pleased to announce that the Matheson Memorial Library is one of 35 institutions selected as a recipient for the Flexible Facilities Grant. Our grant amount will be $2,172,006. We plan to utilize this in the spirit of the grant, which is the project must include constructing a new or renovating and expanding an existing library, the purchase and or installation of broadband and other digital connectivity technology, and directly enable work, education, and health monitoring. So on Wednesday, I'll be going to the Elkhorn Public Library in Port Washington to accept the grant from Governor Evers. So a big thank you to City Grant Writer Katie James for seeing us through this. Can I answer any questions?
Thanks, Chad. That's all I have. Adam?
Sadly, I do not have $2 million of additional money to offer, but real quickly, one, early voting starts October 22nd, so just in-person early voting starts October 22nd. Second, we are still accepting applications for the city clerk position through October 9th. And then we got word that the Newman Development has signed an agreement with the Cook family for their property. So I know that was the developer who came and talked to the council earlier this year. So we're certainly going to be working forward, or working with that developer moving forward, and we'll have more information. But just got that word last week. And then lastly, the paving's been done for Centralia, but Matt, you think it'll be ready and open when?
I just had actually heard from Mike Timmers before I stepped in here, and pavement marking should be done by Friday. So I told him to give me a hard deadline of when it'll be open, but people can get through now that it's all paved out, but they're still doing some restoration and pavement marking getting lined up here pretty soon. So hopefully by mid next week it ought to be open to everybody. So
Thanks, Matt.
yeah.
And that's it for me, Mayor.
All right, we've got the F and J committee report.
Yes, we met on September 30th, 2024. We continue to talk about the capital improvement plan for 2025 to 2029. And we also started discussion on proposed 2025 budget. And we'll be meeting again tonight as soon as this meeting concludes.
Thank you, Gary. New business, we've got discussion of possible decision regarding a proposed scope of engagement with Quarles and Brady LLP to serve as bond counsel and disclosure counsel for sale of approximately $2,085,000 general obligation promissory notes series 2024C. Who wants that?
I mean, this is just as part of the two resolutions on the agenda for tonight. We would be obviously employing Quarles and Brady to do service bond counsel as part of those two bond issuances. So, and the costs are included in the bond issuance, or I should say that the fees are included in the bond amounts.
I make a motion to approve.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion?
Where does this, with these additional bonds, where does this put us in as far as our percentage?
Yeah,
We've got a ceiling 65%, don't we?
yeah, we do. This amount was included in the, when we've been talking about the CIP for the F&J meeting, when I showed that chart saying that we would stay under the 60 to 62% over the next 5 years. It was factoring in this bond issuance, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Peter Harvey,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Kurt Harkness,
Yes.
Scott McClory.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes. We've got a discussion of possible decision regarding proposed scope of engagement with Quarles and Brady LLP to serve as bond counsel and disclosure counsel for sale of approximately $1,515,000 waterworks and electrical system revenue bonds, series 2024D.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion and second. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Peter Harvey,
Yes.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Kurt Harkness.
Yes.
Motion passes. We have discussion and possible decision regarding proposed resolution 2429, a resolution providing for the sale of approximately $2,085,000 general obligation promissory notes, series 2024C.
I make a motion to approve. I'll second.
Any questions or discussion?
Yeah, if you guys want a brief overview of the financing, I know we talked about this a little bit last year when you were going through the budget, but I can provide just a high-level overview of what we're doing with these notes and kind of the impact to tax rate as well as the impact to the GO debt limit. So just at the top here, this year we're talking about issuing GO notes. In the past, if the city wanted to issue debt that's payable longer than a 10-year term, you'd issue a GO bond. We actually got really good news earlier this year. In April, there was a legislative change that extended the repayment term for GO notes out to 20 years, which is very good for the city for a couple of reasons. One, it makes this meeting a lot easier. You have one resolution on the agenda. If you're issuing bonds, you would have all sorts of resolutions for all the different projects that are being funded. So it's easy administratively. Another good reason is that you can reallocate proceeds after the debt is issued. So let's say if you're borrowing $500,000 for streets and $200,000 for equipment, but your streets come in way lower, you can actually reallocate those excess proceeds to any project that is eligible under tax-exempt financing code. So that's a huge benefit for the city to actually be able to move those proceeds around. Bonds didn't allow for that flexibility. And then the biggest one that you're taking advantage of right now is when you issued bonds, you had a 30-day waiting period from when you adopt an initial resolution to when you could actually sell that debt. Given this year's timing and trying to get this sale in before the election hits, there's not 30 days between today and the election. And so issuing these as notes, you don't have the 30-day waiting period. you can actually sell these much more quickly. So the schedule laid out here has us selling this debt in 2 weeks from today. So a lot of good benefits there. The state did something really good for local communities, which is great news. So just running through kind of the projects being financed this year, there's $255,000 for equipment, $90,000 for fire equipment, $1.7 million for street projects, and then a small portion of $10,000 for parks. This is all being supported by the tax levy, so you are pledging the ad valorem property tax to repay the notes. With that, it does hit your GO debt limit. So we are showing that at the end of 2024, we're projecting the city to be at around 54% of that limit. You do have a policy that over a 5-year average, you would stay under 65% of your limit. So when we look at that test, you're sitting just under 62%. So still in compliance with that policy as well. Yep.
What are the rates on the bonds?
Yep, the current market, we ran this at around 3.8%. Next 2 weeks, we might see some weird things happen with more paper coming to market, trying to get in before the election. And then we're also potentially seeing another rate cut in November. So I would anticipate upward and downward pressure at the same time. So probably landing right around that 3.8% when we do sell in 2 weeks. Might go a little higher, a little lower, hard to say.
And so we're taking it from a 10-year window to a 20-year window.
So, yep, that's a great point. A portion of the debt is amortized over 1 year. That's your park projects. It's 10,000. Your street or your equipment, that's financed over 10 years. And then it's the street projects that are over that 20-year term. So we're rematching. Yep, we're matching the repayment for each of those buckets based on the useful life of what's being financed. So the equipment's going to last less time, so pay it off quicker. Streets are going to last longer. You can take the full 20 years to pay that off.
If we wanted to pay it off earlier, is there any penalty?
So you can't pay it off right away. We put what's known as a call feature. So at a certain point down the road, you would be able to either refinance or prepay that debt. So that date, just trying to look.
It's on the road.
Normally it's a 10-year call.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Oh, here we go. So that call date is June 1, 2033. So about 9 years of payments, and then you would have some flexibility to prepay or refinance.
Gotcha.
So just moving on to the Excel schedules that are in that report, just to give you an idea what the impact is on this borrowing. If we look just at the debt service that's going to be paid in 2025, we're estimating that around $167,000 of debt service in 2025, and staying approximately level until you see that 10-year debt fall off, and then it drops down to $125,000 in the out years. So what does that mean to the tax impact? In 2024, the equalized value tax rate just for debt service was about $2.42. We're showing that stepping up a little bit next year to around $2.58. So that adds around $340,000 of total levy that's going towards debt service. And then it drops off after 2025. So there is capacity there to add additional debt with limited tax impacts from that additional debt. So it's good to have your debt structured where you do see it dropping off year over year. There's a schedule included in this report that kind of breaks down the math behind where you are on your GO debt limit, internal policy, and proving out that 62%. So it's actually a step down from where 2023 ended. 2023, you're right around 64%. So really pushing up against that 65% limit. 24, we're estimating you drop down below 62%. So a little more capacity there than there has been in the past couple of years. And then we just included a chart of where rates have been for the past year. So you saw kind of an aggressive step up, and then we've seen a little bit of a moderation. If we back this out over like a 10-year window, we're pretty much bang on the average rate over 10 years. So it's just been a weird market the past couple of years, as I'm sure everybody is well aware. But now we are seeing some of those interest rates starting to come down. That's everything I had on the GO notes. If there are questions, I'm happy to take those now.
Are there any bad, is there anything, those are all the pros. Are there any cons to these notes? Because, at it's not the typical bond that we use, it's gone to the snow, we're trying to get it in before the election. Is there anything we should be worried about?
No, and the difference between bonds and notes, it's really just what statute you're issuing the debt under. As far as how the debt will be priced by the market, they're looking at what the credit pledge is. So that's the credit rating of the city being AA3. It's a strong credit rating. And they're also looking at the pledge. The pledge is the ad valorem property tax that is exempt from levy limits. So the city has the authority to levy whatever you need to pay that debt. So that's a very strong pledge. So those are the two things that the market looks at. They really, quite frankly, could care less about what statute you're using to issue. That's just to create
Well, I just didn't
flexibility
know
for
if
the
there was
city.
a different call feature, or, I mean, there was something else that,
Yep. If you
between
push
the
that
two.
call feature up, you might lose a bidder or two, and you incur a little bit more cost. Anytime you do push that up a year or two, you'll pay a bit of a premium for that. But the 10-year call is pretty standard. So really no downside to including a call feature.
Well, what if we made it 8 years? Does that, I mean, do we get a better rate?
No, if you push the call feature up, you could open yourself up to losing bidders or getting a slightly worse rate. And even if you don't get a worse rate, the way that bonds and notes are priced, they're priced to that call date. So when you push the call date up, you're inherently just increasing the interest a little bit each year that you push that up.
Right.
So, but
Okay.
you could get savings if
Well, I mean,
in 8
it's gonna
years.
cost us more if we go closer to 10 or over 10, it sounded, almost would make sense if I could get you paid off in 5. But I mean, if your goal is for as much payment out of the vehicle, then yeah, don't let them touch it till 10 years.
Most of the call feature is
Or, I mean,
really,
then you can
yep.
forecast, I mean, that's,
The call feature is mainly there for refunding opportunities in the future or refinancing opportunities in the future. Given that this is a geo type note, I don't see a world in the next 10-year window where the city is sitting on a pile of cash to just use cash and prepay this. So it's likely just if the interest rate environment moves, you want to keep that window open.
Sure.
So that's how we kind of came up with a 10-year window.
okay,
Make sense?
yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
Awesome.
Any other questions? I believe we've got a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Peter Harvey,
Yes.
Kurt Harkness,
Yes,
Ken Minell.
Yes.
Motion passes. We've got discussion and possible decision regarding proposed resolution 2430, a resolution providing for the sale of approximately 1,515,000 waterworks and electric system revenue bonds, series 2024D.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Peter Harvey,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Kurt Harkness,
yes,
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Scott McClory.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
Hey, Peter, push your button on your mic, it doesn't work. Tap it, tap it. No?
always something.
No.
Sometimes they just light up when you talk.
There you go. There you go.
Thank you. Mine don't stay on. Maintenance turns off all the time.
All right, we've got a discussion and possible decision regarding pay application number 3 from Rock Road Companies in the amount of $546,925.74 for the 2024 Northeast Water Treatment Plant Water and Sewer Main Extension Project. Is this you, Matt? Have you got this one?
Yeah, this is just a progress pay application for Rock Road, so it's not a change order, it's just a progress payment, number 3. So,
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions, any discussion?
Yeah, I have one. Is that project gonna be completed this year?
yes, yeah, I mean, I would imagine there might be some like punch list with possibly some restoration, but all the pipes should be in the ground, for sure. Yeah.
Cause there's some, the sewer caps that are on the road, you know, section of road they replaced, those,
On COP?
yeah, those are all sticking up, I mean.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is one of the punch list items that's on there.
Okay.
The town pointed it out too. They just wanted to address it at the end of the project, but that is
Okay.
on there for sure. Yeah, if you hit it going southbound pretty good,
Yeah.
Okay, roll call, please.
Gary Payson Junior,
Yes.
Peter Harvey,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Kurt Harkness.
Yes.
Motion passes. Discussion and possible decision regarding proposed ordinance number 24-10, an ordinance amending Elkhorn's Municipal Code Section 7.2453B, which regulates the use of ATVs and UTVs on Elkhorn city streets and other areas to allow the use of ATVs and UTVs on the city and county roads at or below 45 miles per hour unless otherwise posted.
I can make a motion to approve.
Second. Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
No, looks good.
You wanna waive the first reading?
Yes.
I don't think.
Sure.
Do we?
Not able to?
Two readings.
It says,
Yeah, you do have 2 readings, so you would need to do that.
Yeah, motion to waive the first reading.
second.
We've got a motion and a second to waive the first reading. Are we all right? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I'll make a motion to approve with the second reading.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Do we need a motion then to go to closed session?
I'll make,
And was there
I'll
something?
make the motion to go into closed session.
we gotta read?
I'll second.
Yeah.
We gotta do roll call.
The common council may entertain a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute section 19.85(1)(e) for the purpose of deliberating or negotiating an offer to purchase public property. And then, you want these,
Yeah,
the other two?
This part on this.
Oh, I, lot 70, tax key YA 387-800-001 in the business park. Should I read just the rest?
Yep.
Okay. All right, we're also, have a closed section. The common council may entertain a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute section 19.851C to consider the employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which a governmental body has jurisdiction or exercise responsibility. And that's a proposed contract for Deputy Clerk Rebecca Perez to serve as interim city clerk. Also, the common council may entertain a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute section 19.851E to conduct other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require. It's a proposed contract with MGT Impact Solutions LLC to provide services of a clerk consultant.
Then you need first a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
We have to roll call?
A roll call. Good catch. Roll call, please.
Gary Payson Junior,
Yes.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Peter Harvey,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Kurt Harkness.
Yes.
We've got a discussion and possible decision regarding the offer to purchase of lot 70 in the business park.
I'll make a motion to have the city issue a counteroffer to the potential buyer.
I'll second that.
Motion a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We've got discussion and possible decision regarding proposed contract with Deputy Clerk Rebecca Perez to serve as interim city clerk.
I make a motion to approve.
Second. Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Will we see a final contract? I know we have the tentative one in our packet. Is there gonna, if there's any changes, you bring it back to us for anything?
Yeah.
We're not, I'm not anticipating anything, but just, I mean, if we're gonna vote yes, and then you make 2 word changes or 2 letter or whatever, then, you know, so. I just wanna make that. Okay.
Yes.
Roll call, please.
Barry Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Peter Harvey,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Kurt Harkness,
Yes.
Scott McClory.
Yes.
Motion passes. We've got discussion and possible decision regarding proposed contract with MGT Impact Solutions to provide services of clerk consultant.
I make a motion to approve?
Second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Peter Harvey,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Kurt Harkness,
Yes.
Gary Payson Jr.
Yes.
Motion passes. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion?
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.